here we are for one last bonus part of Space Channel 5. Now, I do apologize, but I am going to be talking over this entire thing because, first off, this is casual, and second off, I really don't want to do any more subtitle editing. Mainly because, if Movie Maker gives me one more failed processing, I am going to have to punt it to the moon. But if you want to see these parts without any sort of added commentary, then check out Fefner Masamune and see where I have the raw footage. Okay, but anyway, I am going to be skipping the cutscenes because they're not important. However, upon loading a completed game, you start with your view rating, meaning you also get to keep the dance aura if you manage to get 95% plus view rating.
Now go to the second floor lobby.
And you might have noticed that was actually a different line. Now, the changes in this aren't quite as big as in Space Channel 5 Part 2, but there are some relatively sizable changes, though. For example, we are going to be completely skipping the rooftop duel. You know, the one where pudding appeared? Yeah, instead we go to this section.
I've been informed that some pilots and
so this, of course, means a different song, different inputs and patterns and the like, and also different hostages as well. And I would like to make note, this is actually the second recording of this particular one. I did record the first, but I kind of liked the hostage I got here better after doing it the second time. The original is a space captain, which, you know, fits, but again, I prefer this one a little bit more. You'll see why later. But I would like to mention that, since I'm bringing the hostages up, there's the fact that I did want to do more for this bonus part, but the thing is, I couldn't. There was a minor error in that the memory card didn't actually, for some reason, remember Space Channel 5, so basically I loaded the game and had no data. Now, there is a reason that's not a huge thing, which I'll explain in a little bit, but, bigger issue, of course, is the fact that apparently the PS2 emulator I'm using really does not want to play ball with any other, just any other program in general. So, of course, that means Bandicam won't work with it, so I can't actually record it. So, yeah, I hope I can do it at some point.
Let's shoot!
If I am able to record it again, I will probably do this somewhere down the line, because there are a few things I want to show off. First off, failure reel, because I didn't make any mistakes during this playthrough. Wouldn't be like the entire game, but basically just like a complete section where I screw everything up, just so you can see what that's like. The second is the cheat code that allows you to just have the game play itself. More on that in a bit, but the last one is character profiles. Every character in this game has a profile, and that includes the hostages. Now, I don't know if I'll ever be able to complete that, because I'll explain that in a bit as well, but at the very least I could have shown that off, but no, yet again, not being able to record at all, that doesn't help. Now, if I'm correct, this is where we find the hostage, which is why we didn't want to talk about everything first.
They've got a boy toy.
Yep! I love that line so much, and I'm probably going to spoil that in the description, just because I'm quoting various things in the description, but seriously, that is a great line, and Hypnotized Space Stud, yeah, a whole lot better than the Space Captain. Now, this is a different section than the normal one we'd be getting, since this is the extra report, but there's also one other area here that you unlock by having, I believe, within the range of 80% view rating. That's the luggage room. And I couldn't show that off because, again, of course I can't record, but at the time I didn't want to record it either, because the thing is, you have to have a certain range of view rating, and you can't actually fail your way into getting that amount of view rating. Like, I don't think you'll go below 90 as long as you perfected the first time around. So basically, yeah, if you got 100% view rating and then start extra mode, you can't access the luggage room. You had to make some mistakes. I was hoping that I'd be able to record a failure reel that led into the luggage room, but sadly no such luck.
I did it!
Now, there is footage of the luggage room on YouTube. Sadly, it's not the best quality. I mean, the person does actually do it perfectly, and the audio quality is fine. It's just, whatever emulator he used or whatever recording device, whatever it was, it's very liney.
Watch out! You gotta jump.
Oh, and this looks really bad, by the way. There she goes! Bye, Lula!
Here goes nothing. Up, up, up.
That was not synchronized at all.
Stay tuned.
But yeah.
All right.
By doing that, you just skip straight to Cocoa Tapioca. You never have to encounter Pudding, which makes it more confusing when she shows up later, even though you've never met her. Now, what else was there to talk about? Well, I did want to mention, you know what, why don't we mention the, character profile thing first? So, as I said, you get a profile for every character in the game, including hostages. Certain hostages will only appear at certain view ratings. So basically, there are new hostages in these sections,
The aliens are up
but
ahead,
then
and they've
if
got
you have a
hostages.
view rating below 100%, then you get different hostages. It doesn't matter that much unless you really like 100%, but oh my god, that pattern. Whew, jeez, let me tell you, this one threw me off.
Down, up, down, shoot, shoot, shoot.
I mean, it's a simple pattern, but it's more remembering how many times you have to press everything is the problem. But yeah, anyway, character profiles, I could have done it, it just would have taken a lot longer, and quite frankly, I was playing this for a while anyway to get a good run of it. So, then on top of that, I would have also had to do runs where I did just the right amount of doing well, but also not quite doing well enough, on top of already doing the extra reports perfectly, since I do want them in a good quality, because, well, why would you watch them if they're bad? Why would you ever put up a run of Space Channel 5 where you screwed up inputs?
Man, that ain't just
That,
good.
what would even be the point of that? But yeah, it's basically just be a whole lot of work, and I was kind of busy at the time since school was ending and all that, so didn't really get a chance to do that. And plus, again, I was kind of tired of this game anyway. Because after you play it and have to do it perfectly and screw it up a lot, A, because you're bad, and B, because of emulator input lag, yeah, I wasn't exactly in the mood to play it, so I thought, oh, I'll just put this off for a few months and then come back for the bonus stuff later, and lo and behold, I couldn't. But anyway, yeah. Then there was also that thing about the cheat code that makes the gameplay itself. I guess I could actually mention it now, but I am planning on doing that bonus part eventually when I'm able, so I'll save it for that, but I'm sure a bunch of people are probably like, a cheat code that makes the gameplay itself? Well, what's the point of that then? I mean, first off, if you're bad at rhythm games but find yourself with this run garbage. Boo. Surprised you, didn't we? Didn't think we'd be in the trash cans, huh? Okay, but seriously, first off, if you found yourself with this game but realized, oh, hey, I'm actually very bad at rhythm games, where they don't actually give you the exact commands to do, because, I mean, even other games give you the commands you have to do, like, haven't really played the games myself, but Parappa the Rapper is kind of similar to Space Channel 5. I mean, part of that is not actually following the prompt so you can freestyle it, but apparently that, at the very least in the first game, that's not exactly the best thing. But that's a different matter entirely, but even that game gives you the commands that you have to follow. So, if you're not exactly ready for this, then it's nice that there is at least some way that you can experience the game. Plus, even if you are good at the game, it's not like YouTube existed back in the day, so maybe you want to listen to the music of Space Channel 5. But here's the problem. You'd have to play the game itself, and, you know, that does take a lot of concentration, and maybe you just want to enjoy the game. So hey, you have this cheat code that has the gameplay itself, so you can just listen to it.
Hey, they've got their cannons aimed at you.
But, of course, that's kind of pointless nowadays, since you probably know what you're getting into when you buy a game, so if you see this game, you're like, oh, a rhythm game where it doesn't give you prompts? I'd probably be bad at that. Or, oh hey, I'm just going to watch this on YouTube instead. You know, I know that's what I do most of the time. You know, I did kind of enjoy this game to an extent, but I would much rather watch it, to be honest. That is one thing about the game. It's definitely a thing I want people to experience, but I can totally understand if they don't actually want to play the games themselves. And on that note, you should probably watch Space Channel 5 Part 2 as well. I mean, part of me wants to be vain and be like, oh, well, you shouldn't experience Space Channel 5 Part 2 until I do a playthrough of it, but come on. It's gonna be years before I actually do a playthrough of that game, so really you shouldn't deprive yourself of it. Go watch Space Channel 5 Part 2. Trust me, it's amazing. If you enjoyed this in any capacity, you'll definitely love Space Channel 5 Part 2. And heck, even if you didn't really care for this game, maybe you might like the second game better. I've said this many a time, but the music's a lot better, and the villain of that game is absolutely amazing. He is the best, and I love him. But, yeah, you should go watch it. There are a bunch of non-commentary playthroughs on the internet. I would suggest, oh, what's the name of that person? I'm actually going to look this up fairly quickly. Oh man, this is so unprofessional. I'm not completely ready for this, but yeah. There was one playthrough I watched for a while, but it actually was I think the Steam version or something like that. That's not really a huge difference, but the thing about the Steam version is for some reason they weren't able to get the voice actors back to change controls, so whenever somebody mentions the X button or the circle button, there's just no voice for it. They just give you text that says, press the X button or the circle button, or whatever button it happens to be on the controller they're using. So you do want to see the PS2 version of the game, just so those tiny lines of dialogue are there. And yes, those tiny lines of dialogue do bother me.
You the best, girlfriend.
And I feel like there was something else I wanted to mention about it. I can't really think about it, but anyway, yeah, the name of the person is Aya Annie Gaming. It's the first thing that comes up if you look up Space Channel 5 Part 2. Excuse me, Fuse? What was that supposed to be? Anyway, yeah, go watch Space Channel 5 Part 2. Do it. Come on, like right now. Stop watching this completely. I mean, come on. But yeah, in general, it's a very good game, and again, I would suggest watching it over playing it. I mean, if you really do want to play it, Space Channel 5 Part 2, as I said before, is available on Steam, so you can get it on there. It is a little bit harder to find Space Channel 5, this game, the first game, anywhere else, though, unfortunately, but the second game is definitely the one worth playing, or watching. I do have to repeat myself a lot, but I can totally see how people might not want to play these games. But they are an experience, though. I feel like I'm just talking in circles at this point. I do have to be here for a few more minutes. But while this goes on, I might leave you to it for a little while, and I'll just mention a few of the last things here. Well, that was over with faster than I thought. Also, my favorite cutscene in the game is coming up. And I still love that dance. I don't know what that's about, though.
Go to the main antenna.
Okay, but this is great.
The chief, Mr.
Fuck, bye! I love it, he just paces away, just kind of awkwardly. Like in normal mode, he gets away in kind of a cool fashion. But
Stay
here,
tuned.
no, he's just like, oh fuck, I didn't expect to see you here. Bye. Oh, I actually missed something.
Here's our chance,
I did want to show off the fact that Evola did actually have her voice changed in the PS2 version, which is far worse because it's not the robotic version, and I actually spliced in the original Dreamcast voice for Evola, because quite frankly I like it better, and it's the same voice as her normal command, so I don't know why they replaced her for some reason. This, however, is slightly different. Not this in itself, but what Blank says as he's thrown into the void of space.
You'll regret this!
Yep, that's the difference.
All right, the Morolians weren't such bad guys.
And the rest of it is the same. So that's it for Space Channel 5, for the time being at least. Hopefully sometime in the future I'll have another bonus part ready, but for the time being, that's it.
You're all the coolest.
Now, everyone,
And
let's march
once
to the
again, we will
galaxy.
march off to the end of the galaxy. Nice to see Morolian Monroe survive that whole explosion thing.